Nebraska State Fair Board will host their monthly meeting on Friday. One of the topics that is expected to be discussed is the fair's recent funding request from the city of Grand Island. Local 4's Jartavius Edmonds spoke with the executive director of the State Fair to provide details on what exactly those funds would be used for.
Time is ticking until Nebraskans will travel to Grand Island for the 2025 Nebraska State Fair, and fair officials are under a tight window to get Fauna Park ready.
Especially with the State Fair just 64 days away.
Jamie Parr, executive director of the Nebraska State Fair, and the fair's board members recently stood in front of Grand Island City Council to present a funding request for the second phase of its master plan improvement project.
Understanding that if there were projects that did not qualify for ARPA funding, that we would present those to the city for their consideration and evaluation.
Nebraska State Fair was awarded $20 million in America Rescue Plan Act or ARPA funds in 2022. They had applied for $27 million to address major issues highlighted by the 2019 fair when heavy rain that caused the ground to look like a river. With phase 1 nearly completed, the phase 2 of the project includes major improvements to the south parking lot of Fauna Park.
The city has assets in the Heartland Event Center and in the field house. They also have a right-of-way on campus. So there is an interest by the city onto the campus, and the users who would be visiting those facilities would be using the parking area where our ask came from most recently.
The ask is $2.6 million.
We were able to whittle that $7 million deficit from the ask versus the award. We were able to whittle that down to about 2.6. Our total deficit at this time is estimated to be $2.6 million.
Parr says $1.5 million of the improvements will directly benefit the city-owned Heartland Event Center, but why is Nebraska State Fair asking for the funds instead of Fauna Park?
The reason that the city came forward to ask the city for their consideration is because the State Fair was awarded the funds through ARPA. Ultimately, the State Fair is who applied for it and who was awarded the funds, and so it makes sense that the same pool would go to the city to seek their consideration.
What else are the funds going to be used for, if you can explain that?
Yeah, well, ARPA covers a whole lot, but the things that they do not cover, which makes up that $2.6 million estimated deficit, includes light poles and a lot of electrical power, as well as fiber optics and security cameras. So considering the potential interest, or I guess all stakeholders' interest in having a safe and secure parking lot, some of those items bubbled to the top as far as good items to put in front of City Council for their consideration.
Ultimately, the ARPA project entirely will benefit much more than Nebraska State Fair, including Fauna Park, the Heartland Event Center, and the newly opened Grand Island Casino Resort. I did reach out to the City of Grand Island for a comment. City Administrator Laura McAloon says the request we received from Nebraska State Fair is for the city to contribute the cost of paving, lighting, security cameras, and for a portion of the Fauna Park campus parking lot that will serve Heartland Event Center. That request is still under legal and funding capacity review. The next Grand Island City Council meeting is set for Tuesday, June 24th. At this time, it is not determined whether this topic will be on the council's agenda. Reporting in Grand Island, Jartavius Edmonds, Local 4 News.
And we'll continue to provide more information on this story when we get more details and as we get to the State Fair.